here are all these resources. The key to all this stuff in bioinformatics is, number one, you don't have to program to do this stuff, right, for the most part. And probably the biggest reason is, and I tell this to people all the time, if you're a scientist nowadays, you should be a bioinformatician. That, here's what happens. I see these groups, they plan these huge, massive experiments, they do all this work, they do RNA-seq, they do metabolomics and stuff, and then at the very end, if you've had like postdocs are crying because they've been worked too hard, and you have all this stuff, all this time and effort, and then they take this and then they give the data to somebody else, a computer person, and go, here, tell us what's going on. It's like, why would you ever do that? A computer person is not going to know the back history on what you're doing. They don't care about the biology. Typically what happens is these computer people, they spend their careers making a specific hammer, and they're going to use that hammer on everything. And if you give them their data, they're going to use their hammer on your data, and they're going to call it good. But they're not going to care about the biology. Deep down, and what makes this all really enjoyable for me, and this is why I got into bioinformatics, is, I thought it was cool being in a lab and running Westerns and gels and all that stuff. At the very beginning, and I'm sure you feel this way too, you're like, oh, this is so cool. I'm a scientist, and I've got gloves on, and I've got a lab coat. But I swear, after like your 2000th, RT-PCR, you're like, this sucks. Like, I want to do something different. Because really what you're doing is you're doing all that stuff to generate the data. And when it's like the meal. Like, you got to do, eat your vegetables first. And then at the very end, when you generate all that data, that's dessert. And, if you just eat your meal and you give somebody else the dessert, what's the point? You understand your system better than anybody. You should be analyzing your own data. And if you give it to somebody to interpret for you, you're making a mistake. I guarantee it, right? And that's why I got into bioinformatics. It's like every day I get to eat dessert. It's just awesome. And I don't have to do any of that, any of the boring lab stuff. I can do this stuff at home. I can eat dessert in my underwear, and that's what I do. I work from home all the time. I can also get data not just from my own stuff, but I can get it anywhere. And I can help basically anybody that comes to me. I could probably help them with their research because there is so much data out there. All right, any questions? Y'all gonna be bioinformaticians now, right? I'm telling you, the data sciences, right now there's a huge glut. Like, for me to get, if I wanted to get somebody to run Westerns or to pipette stuff, tons of people out there. If I want to find somebody that does data analytics, does modeling, can figure out what, transcriptomics is, pool is very, very small. I'm still on LinkedIn, and every day I'm getting like 30 job offers. There is a lot of money and opportunities in this kind of stuff because you're not just specializing in one thing. The tools and everything you learn in bioinformatics can be applied to just about anything. So I would highly recommend, if you want to make sure you have a job going forward, anything with data science in it is going to be big. Promise you. All right, that's all I got. No questions? Okay, you guys are released. I gave you 20 minutes back. Be sure to mention that in the comments.